pavement to repair. That's why he carries a pitchfork, you see, to repair hoof marks in the gallops. It's called treading in. You'll have seen the scene in Pretty Woman where they do it at the polo match in short skirts and high heels. My dad does it properly, with a 4-pronged pitchfork. Get the prongs in under the divot, lift it up, then tread it level with the grass around it. No point doing a job unless you do it properly. This is the mantra of his life, and consequently, the background music of mine. Dad is a doer, not a thinker. You won't catch me sitting like a sado drinking at lunchtime, he says, pouring 1/4 of a bottle of sherry into his cup of soup. He offers me his mug. You should taste this, it's really excellent, you know. I turn up my top lip. I hate sherry, and I don't want to drink out of Dad's cup. Much as I love him, I've never wanted to share his food, and I've never wanted him to share mine either. That bit is harder to prevent. My father sees himself as the official taster to the world. He'll make you a gin and tonic, drop in the ice and a slice, then take a sip of it to check it's all right, before handing it to you. Stop drinking my drink! I shout at him from the other room, because I know he's doing it without even seeing him. He comes in, looking bemused. But I have to check it's good enough for you, he says, before handing it over. There, that is the best gin and tonic you will ever have. My sister-in-law knew she'd gained full acceptance when Dad started eating from her plate without asking permission. He just wanted to check hers tasted as good as his. She nearly stabbed her fork into the back of his hand by mistake, but that's the risk you run if you steal food from under other people's noses. And my father has been a risk-taker all his life. Maybe that's why walking never appealed to him. He couldn't see the risk, or the point. My mother likes walking, with the dogs or the grandchildren. She takes an old ice cream container to pick blackberries or mushrooms, and checks the hedgerows for hidden gems. She doesn't walk with my father because he can't stroll or forage. He'd be diving off into a field to pull up ragwort, checking on horses or rushing home to change for a game of golf. If something awful happens, or she needs time to think, Mum will take the dogs for a walk. When our puppy was hit by a car on the road outside our house and died in my arms, my partner Alice and I were in that state of shocked grief that you never forget. We drove him home to Kingsclear, where Mum had organised for a grave to be dug out. After we had buried him, I still feel a catch in my throat at the horror of it all, Mum took us for a walk. We trudged in silence, tears blurring our vision, until Ruby the boxer snuffled up, her back end waggling with joy. We had to smile at her, and we had to keep moving, one foot in front of the other, away from the ghastliness of what we had witnessed. Mum believes, as Hippocrates did, that walking is the best medicine for all ailments, mental and physical. She is a lone walker. I can't imagine her joining a group of strangers or going very far out of her territory. The word ramblers makes her come out in a cold sweat. They have all that kit, those stupid socks and poles and a map covered in plastic, and a compass. Then when I tell them they're not on the footpath, they get aggressive. So I didn't exactly grow up with ambulophobia, but there was a degree of ramblerophobia. I realise this may not be a word until now. This all changed with a single phone call. In 1999, I was contacted by a BBC Radio 4 producer called Lucy Lunt. She'd seen me on TV doing an interview with Terry Wogan for Auntie's Sporting Bloomers and thought I looked like fun. As I was a country sort, she wondered if I might be the right presenter for a new series she was making. Do you walk? Lucy asked. Well, I walk the dogs, I said. I'd moved to London, where my feet were mainly deployed on pavements and tunnels and tube stations. I did go home to Kingsclear regularly, and when I was there I made sure I always took the dogs out, so I figured that counted. I had no idea there were people who walked for the sake of it, and groups who went out regularly to conquer the footpaths of Great Britain. I sounded more confident than my experience warranted, but yes, in my understanding of the word, I was a walker. Excellent, she said. Now, can you read a map? I replied a little too hastily, Of course I can. This was in the days before sat-navs and GPS, and I had an uncanny knack of memorizing